banana, Hannah. Try the salami, Tommy. Give with the gravy, Davy. Everybody eats when they come to my house.
Hey guys, it's Jodi here with Honeysuckle Hill Bee-stro, and I have my friend Leesa Nesty with me. And Leesa, I've known you my whole entire life. We were neighbors whenever I was growing up, and Leesa wears many, many hats. So, Leesa, just give me a little bit of your hat collection of what all you do.
Oh my, okay. Well, when I tell you how long I have done frame selections on patients, you're going to look at me and you're going to think, oh, it couldn't be that long because you're
so young.
Right. But I have been doing frame selections on patients for 43 years.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I work with my husband as the office manager at the World in Focus Eye Care. And my favorite thing there is to find a frame that works the best for that patient.
Oh, cool. So you're kind of like a face stylist.
Yes.
That sounds good.
My goal is for them to find a frame that when they walk out of the office with it on, they feel good about themselves, they feel confident, gives them the confidence to go out and face the world.
Nice. That's nice. Awesome. So do they normally, can they find that themselves? Do they put it on and they're like, oh, yeah, I like this one? Or do you feel like you have to say, you know what, you really look good in this one sometimes?
Most people have a pretty good sense of what looks good on them and what doesn't. Every once in a while,
you don't want to wear that one.
Right. And if they do walk out with it on, you think, I really hope they don't tell people where they got those.
That's awesome. So do you get to go buy the frames and pick those out? And that would be fun too.
Yeah.
So do you go like to, a conference, maybe conference isn't the right word, but a market or something? Yeah.
Optometry is a little bit different. The sales reps come to our office.
Okay.
So they bring their bags in with their frames and then I get to shop.
Oh, fun. That's fun. That's cool. So, Leesa, I mean, you've always cooked.
Yes.
And so I don't ever remember a time that you're not cooking.
But of course, you know, I come from a background of cooks.
Yes. So let's talk about your mom a little bit because Joyce, Leesa's mom, Joyce Warner, was my mom's best friend, and we were next door neighbors growing up. And your mom had a catering business for a while, and she was the head cook at Buren, where we went to school. And whenever you come to the bistro and you have Joyce's mashed potatoes, it's Leesa's mom.
Yes.
That's who Joyce is. So, okay. Yeah. So let's talk about your mom a little bit and her influence on your cooking.
Oh my. I love my mom and I miss my mom every day.
Yeah.
Mom loved to cook. Mom got it honest because her mother loved to cook.
Oh, and did you call your grandma Oni? Is that right?
Well, her name was Ona, but everybody called her Oni.
Okay.
But in some of your other videos with the people that you've done videos with, I heard them talk about their Nana and so forth. Well, my brother and I called our grandmother Nano. N-A-N-O.
Okay.
Nano.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was a good cook.
Okay.
She passed that along to my mom, and then my mom passed it on to me.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. What do you remember most your mom making? Or what's your favorite thing that your mom made?
The favorite thing that I liked that my mom made was the Mississippi mud cake that she made me every year for my birthday.
Okay.
That was my favorite dessert.
Yeah.
The favorite meal that she made was round steak in the oven, and it had a gravy with it that was unlike any that I've ever tasted since, and I'm having a difficult time duplicating.
Oh. She didn't write that one down anywhere.
No. Right.
But you guys had a garden.
Yes.
Growing up, and it was a huge garden.
Yes. A lot of weeds to pull in that garden, Jodi.
There was. And your dad, I mean, he was out there almost every evening, it seemed like, pulling weeds. So it seemed like
that was
he
his
got
passion.
Joy. Yeah, it seemed like he had joy working that garden.
was his passion.
And it was beautiful, and it was huge. And your mom did a lot of canning.
Yes.
And she even like had a little canning space set up in your basement, didn't she?
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I can remember, okay, this is a funny story. So whenever I was a little girl eating school lunch at Buren and the little buttered potatoes with the parsley, I lied to kids. I didn't know I was lying. I thought they came out of your garden. I told the kids, these came from Joyce's garden. And I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. And I just lied bigger than the heck because I didn't know what the heck I was talking about. But it seemed like they should have.
Well, the thing is, Dad planted enough potatoes that he probably could have supplied the school with the potatoes for the meals.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Because your mom made a lot of desserts because she actually made desserts for several different restaurants and cooked for different restaurants around. So what were some of those?
Some of those were cheesecakes, sour cream coffee cakes. She made a lot of those. She made a lot of what they call baked fudge, which was a chocolate dessert. Chocolate was her favorite, so she enjoyed making that. Another thing about the coffee cakes is she was well known for those sour cream coffee cakes. And anytime we would have company coming in, she would always say, would you like for me to make you a coffee cake?
Oh, nice.
And I have company coming in this next weekend, and whenever I was outdoors this morning with the dogs, I thought to myself, it sure would be nice if I could call Mom and say, Mom,
make me a coffee
will you make me a coffee cake?
So have you taken over like your mom's recipes for family get-togethers and stuff like that, or
some
just
of
for
them?
fun?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Another thing that she's known for is her macaroni and cheese, the
Okay.
baked macaroni and cheese. And it was the way my grandmother made it, and she made it that way, and then she taught me how to make it that way.
Nice, nice. So I'm going through some old vintage recipes right now.
A nickel's worth of cheese.
I know. I had Leesa told me how much a nickel's worth of cheese was from back in '42, because I mean a nickel's worth of cheese I don't even think would be enough for a mousetrap at this point in time.
Right.
But it's just totally different. So you like the vintage cookbooks and stuff too.
Yes.
So do you feel like you know how to decipher them? Because it's a totally different way of cooking.
I can decipher them if I have an older person that I can ask. If they can interpret. Yes. And the thing is, you want to be sure whenever you ask that person to write it down what they say, so then that way you can have that in writing.
Because there is an ebb and flow to food.
I think about my Nano running the well water, for her dishes and so forth. Oh,
so did she have like a pump there? Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
And then whenever I got old enough to remember, yes, there was running water in there, but there were still plenty of times though that looking out the kitchen window, I could see the well, and she would go out to the well to get more water.
Wow. Yeah. That's not long ago.
No, because like I said, we're not that old.
So Leesa, what are we cooking today?
We are cooking a soup that I came up with the recipe for.
Yay, so an original.
Yes, it's
a Leesa Nesty original.
Yes. It is a chicken sausage soup.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, so join us in the kitchen, and Leesa's going to show us how to make her original chicken sausage soup. Here we are in the kitchen with Leesa. And Leesa, tell me what it is that you've got in your pretty pink pot, and then I want to know about this pretty pink pot too.
Okay. We have a pound of sausage in here because what we're going to be making is the sausage chicken wild rice soup.
Okay.
So we start out with a pound of the sausage. Regular sausage is fine. I suppose if you want something a little bit spicier, you can use spicy sausage.
Okay.
Then I am going to use this tool here, and I saw on one of your videos where you have one of these too. My mom got me this.
Oh, nice.
And it is great for breaking up ground meat.
Okay.
We'll get that in there and get it broke up, and go ahead and add, this is the equivalent of about 2 chicken breast halves, 2 to 3 chicken breast halves diced, bite-sized pieces. So
So what was the inspiration of this recipe?
We love Uncle Ben's long grain and wild rice.
Okay, I do too.
It has great flavor. We like chicken. And we like soup.
Yeah.
So I thought it might be kind of nice to come up with a recipe that would incorporate all of those.
Good deal. Okay, so what about this pretty pink pot? Because I don't know about you guys, but I've never seen a pretty pink pot like this.
Well, it was in October, and I was going to Indianapolis for my annual mammogram, and we all know that's something important to do. I know that it's important because my mother passed away from breast cancer. We've already talked about that. I took time out afterwards to go to Williams-Sonoma and do some shopping. With it being October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they had this beautiful display in their window of pink.
Oh, nice.
Pink pots, pink dishes. Oh my gosh. So I saw this and I fell in love with it. The brand name is Le Creuset.
Okay.
Le Creuset is not cheap, but it was on sale. And I thought, should I use my birthday and Christmas money that I wrap whole away
for the next 5 years?
For the next 5 years to buy this pot. And I looked at it and I thought, yes, in honor of my mother, I'm going to buy that pot. And it turned out to be the best purchase I have ever made for a kitchen pot and pan.
So I take it things don't stick in it, or you wouldn't love it that much.
No, things do not stick. It has now become our chicken noodle pan that we use.
Yeah.
The other pan that we thought was good
no
went by the wayside. It is no longer. We use this now. So this is a great pot. When we were growing up, we were not destitute, okay, but we weren't over the top money rich either.
Right.
My mom never really invested in what you would call good pans.
Right.
Now, baking pans, yes, for her desserts and the wedding cakes and so forth. Yes, she had great pans for that. But cooking pans, we just didn't have good pans.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't see the need for it, and I don't think she did either.
Yeah.
But once you use a really good pan like this, you realize how great they are.
You know what? I
and
think
it's worth the money.
I think kitchen tools are just like a van, wood shop or whatever shop that they have. The difference in good products and not good products is in the tools.
Yes, I agree.
believe that.
I agree. Yes, I found that out. I'm going to go ahead and add the onion
Okay,
while
great.
this is browning.
Okay. Get things going.
Yeah, definitely with the tools, you want a good tool.
Yeah. Leesa, we lived just south of Buren School when we were growing up, and probably whenever you guys were doing dishes, could you see the school from your
yes.
kitchen window?
Yes, it was always great to look out the window, and I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil to that. To look out the window when we were doing dishes of an evening to see what all was going on at the school and how many cars were up there.
And who was there. I mean, because most people would pass by our houses on their way. And so I can remember, like on ball game night, we were always the last ones to arrive anywhere. And so watching everybody going by saying, oh, well, there's so-and-so heading to the game, and
it was always fun.
It was fun. But I think that because we lived close to the school and both of our moms worked at school, I feel like we kind of felt a little bit of ownership.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And so talking about the ownership, your mom being head cook, because this is fascinating to me, because my Aunt Norma, who was older than your mom, she talked about whenever she was in high school, that it was the home ec classes that made the school lunches.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's just fascinating to me because, think back a generation before that, our grandmothers, they took their lunches to school. There was no hot lunch at school.
Right.
Then the next generation, the home ec students made the school lunches.
Which was great because it gave those students plenty of practice.
Exactly. Exactly.
On homemaking and cooking and planning meals for their families.
Well, one thing that my dad always made fun of my Aunt Norma for making was egg log goldenrod. I don't think I'm saying it right.
Eggs goldenrod, I believe it was.
And so it was like hard-boiled eggs, right, in a gravy that you would put on top of a toast.
My dad used to talk about that. Yeah.
Did he like it?
No.
No, it doesn't sound good at all.
No.
So maybe that's why the next generation they decided to hire cooks.
That could be. They thought they'd leave it to the professionals.
It's just funny how it evolved, and it would be interesting to know. So when did the school corporation decide, you know what, we should probably hire cooks to feed all these students?
I'm not sure when they began to have cooks, but I do know that whenever I started school in 1965, there were cooks back then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So your mom, you talked about how your mom actually had to do the grocery shopping.
Yes.
So tell everybody about that, because that's fascinating to me. Oh, do we need to do something with this instead of talking?
We're gonna let this simmer for just a little bit. I'll tell you the funny story first about the grocery shopping.
Okay.
Mom always had to go grocery shopping to get the supplies for the school. We'll go into detail about that in a minute. But Mom, cooking all day long, never wanted to have a dirty kitchen after she got home. She wanted to have dinner, get the dishes done, and she wanted to be done with it.
Right.
Well, I like to cook. She taught me to like to cook. So as soon as she would go to town to get the groceries, get the supplies, I waited for them to pull out the drive, and then I raced to the kitchen and I got all of the things out to make the chocolate chip cookies or peanut butter cookies or no-bake cookies, whatever it was, whatever I wanted to make at the time. And I started the cookies because I figured if she came home and they were already in the oven, there wasn't a whole lot that she could do about it.
That's true. You're such a rebel, Leesa.
I know. Oh, I got in trouble more times than I care to count.
But as long as you cleaned up yourself.
But I did. I cleaned up my mess. I cleaned up my mess.
So that
and
was
she
probably
did reap the benefits.
Yeah.
She reaped the benefits.
That's
so that was
awesome.
fine. But yes, about the supplies, that was something that cooks did back then. When Mom took the job over, she had a lady from one of the local elementary schools by the name of Hyla Siner that helped her tremendously, took her under her wing, told her a little bit about how to gauge for a certain number of kids, how much it usually takes to make this or that or whatever. Mom took the job then and learned from experience. But yes, almost every night she and Dad would go to Freddy's Fruit Market in town.
Oh wow, that's so awesome.
And they would come home. Well, they would have to then take the groceries to the school.
Right.
And then come home. But she would go get the carrots, the celery, the head lettuce, all of the vegetables, the potatoes or whatever that they would need for school the next day.
That is so cool. Because, I mean, it was helping the local economy too.
Right, it was.
That is so
But there were so many things back then that were made from scratch.
Yes. So Andy and I, we've talked just like in the last week about the yeast rolls that
my gosh,
used to have.
Can you, can you imagine, well, yes, you can imagine now because you do it, you do it every week.
Not to the scale that they do it. They did it every day.
Yes, they made homemade yeast rolls, they made their homemade spaghetti sauce, homemade noodles.
Wow. So when we had the beef and noodles.
Homemade from scratch.
When we had the beef and noodles, it was
from scratch.
From scratch noodles. Same thing with the chicken and dumplings.
I don't remember so much the dumplings, but I'm sure. No, the dumplings were not.
Okay.
The dumplings were Sweet Sue, I believe.
Okay.
But the spaghetti sauce was homemade.
Wow.
Yeast rolls were homemade.
Wow. So how many yeast rolls do you think that they made whenever they would serve those? Because that was always on chicken and dumpling day, if I remember right.
Yes.
And probably on beef and noodle day too.
Right. Well, when you think that there were probably an average of 30 kids per class, and there were 12 grades and 2 classes per grade, they probably made about 1,000 yeast rolls.
Wow.
That is a lot of pulling off a wad and forming into a ball.
Yeah. Do you remember how many cooks they had at Buren at that time?
Yes, there was my mom and Christine and Betty, Erie, and Lillian. So there were five cooks.
Wow.
And then they
To make
have a
1,000
couple of and then they had a couple of ladies that came in a little bit later to do some of the cleaning and wiping off the tables and so forth.
Yeah. Wow. So you talked about your mom would do all the planning at home, not at school.
Yes.
And so you said that she had notebooks and notebooks.
Oh my gosh, there were notebooks because she would have to do the menu planning, and she would have to plan those menus out for a month in advance. Then she would have to get that to the school paper because the menus were always published in the school paper.
That's right.
Or in the Brazil Times
yeah.
in the paper, yes. Then she would have to make out her grocery list, and she did that. She did that every night.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
So you think about probably what the pay was for that job, and you think about the amount of work that had to be done at home that she never got paid for.
Yeah. Well, she did it because she loved it.
But
I
she
mean, there
loved
was
it,
a
and
love.
she loved. Yes, there was a lot. She loved to cook, and she loved the kids.
Yeah. That's I don't know, just happy memories of childhood. You know, that's just so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And there were some really good memories. When we had my mom's visitation, there were several former students that came through the line and whispered to me that, they thought so much of my mom and the other cooks because they gave them extra food.
Yeah.
The cooks knew some of the kids that maybe didn't get that much at home or have that much to eat at home.
Yeah.
So they got maybe a little extra scoop on their plates. Or the basketball team got extra food on their plate that day because, those ladies knew that they were going to need that extra fuel.
Yeah. So, because I remember high schoolers could go back and buy extra pizza burgers too, and pizzas. I remember that I was in an elementary, so I never got in on that part of it. And I don't know why I didn't get in on it. I didn't eat. Actually, when we consolidated, I never ate another school lunch. And so
it just wasn't the same.
Yeah. True. But so yeah, that's really cool. That's whenever you're part of a community, a small community, and you know the people you're serving.
Yes.
Then you can serve it more individually.
Yes.
That's
And they did it with a smile, and they did it with love in their hearts.
Yeah.
Do you remember whenever the cooks for the holidays always wore the pins?
Yes.
And they always
Yeah.
they
They made
the
it fun.
holiday pins.
They
They
were-
made it fun.
They were part of the school. I
Yes,
mean, they
yes.
were, and the custodians were too. I mean,
Yes.
it was. I mean, they.
It was a family.
It was.
It was a family.
It
A
was.
family type atmosphere.
Yeah, it really was. That was cool. Okay, so what we add now? Looks
So
like
what?
we're adding some
So
stuff.
what I've done, just kind of as a review, I had a little bit of olive oil in there. We had the sausage and the chicken and an onion diced.
Okay.
It has browned,
Nice.
and the onion is clear.
I'm gonna tell our camera people, someone to come and take a shot of this pot. So we got 2 camera people. Let's see who rushes to the occasion here, folks.
Now that the sausage is broken up, I'm going to get that out of the way, and I'm just going to work with this flat bottom spoon. I'm going to take the Uncle Ben's seasoning packet. What I like to do with it is I like to put it over before I add anything else, because I like for that seasoning to
get
stick,
to meat a little bit.
really get into the meat and stick to it.
Okay.
Now, okay, I don't want to keep on talking about school lunch because we're doing other stuff here. But I think most people have experienced school lunch. So
Right.
Do you remember how much it was whenever you started school?
I think it was about 25 cents. I can remember it going up to 35 cents.
I think I started
with
when it was 35.
35 or 50 cents.
I think whenever the last time I remember it was 55, but I'm sure it went up more than that by the time I left school. But I mean, that was a lot of food. I mean,
Yes,
you got a lot of food for that price.
Right. Now let's just turn this down just a little bit.
Okay.
Now I'm going to add the package of cream cheese,
Okay.
which has been softened, and I like for that cream cheese to melt.
Yep.
over that. If you put the cream cheese in along with the broth and everything else, then the cream cheese ends up separating and getting lumpy.
And it gets chunky and yeah.
So if you just put it in and let it soften and melt.
Kind of melt a little bit and it kind of work its way in. Yeah.
So what was your favorite school lunch?
Gosh. Well, yeast roll day was good. A
Oh,
good
yes.
day, you know.
Yes.
So I like the chicken and dumplings. You know, everybody ate on pizza day, but I was such a scared little kid. I mean, I am a scaredy cat by nature. I mean, it's God and Andy like pulling me out of that. Truly. And so
I would not have thought that.
really, I
Yeah,
am.
I would not have thought that.
Yeah. But I mean, really, Jesus has redeemed me on a lot of that. But
Good.
anyway, so my first grade year, I took my lunch every day because I was afraid that I would trip and fall with the tray and have a big mess. Isn't that crazy? I just let fear or something that would probably never happen. And if it did, so what? You know?
Those cooks
Keep
would have
me-
just gotten you another try.
Yeah, they would have. And the custodians would have cleaned it up, and you know,
Right.
Mom would have taken me home, and I would have gotten a different outfit. You know, so I mean, but in second grade, I mean, I went ahead and I bought the school lunch.
You bit the bullet.
I bit the bullet, and I don't think I took my lunch very much after that. So
Well,
So
it was
were
a
you-
great, well-rounded lunch.
it was. So did you? And we didn't have breakfast back then at school either.
Right.
So did you ever take your, I mean, with your mom being the cook, did you ever
I
take
never
your
took-
lunch?
No.
There was no need
There was no need to. No.
That's
I knew the food was good,
Yeah.
so I was going to eat it. Now, this cheese is almost melted.
Okay.
I believe it is.
Yeah, I don't see any like big chunks
The
of it
next
anywhere.
thing I'm going to add is the chicken broth. So I've
Okay.
got 48 ounces or 32 ounces of.
Do you want
chicken
48?
broth.
Because I've got more.
Well, I'll tell you, the nice thing about this recipe is it's pretty forgiving.
Okay.
So let's check and
Okay.
see how this 32 ounces is going to do.
And there's just no way to make that a pretty sound, is there?
No. No.
So does Gary cook very much, or does he
He
grill?
does.
Okay,
He
good.
grills, and he cooks the noodles for Christmas dinner.
Oh, good deal.
He loves to fry chicken.
Good.
Those are his childhood
Yeah,
memories.
Yeah.
I'm going to add some half and half.
Okay. This is
Or heavy whipping cream. You
This
can
is-
use heavy whipping cream or half and half. However
Okay.
rich,
okay.
however rich
All right.
you want it.
And this is working out pretty good for me, Leesa, because I'm just standing here watching. You're doing all the work.
That's fine.
So I can see you needing to double this recipe and triple it whenever you've got guests over.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because this, I can see where this is going to be a really tasty soup.
Well, we think so.
Yeah.
I hope you all like it.
Yeah. I can tell already I'm going to like it.
Now, with any cream-based soup, you really don't want it to come to a full boil. So you just want to heat it through. Make
Okay.
sure
And
all
we're
of
still
that
on
cheese is
medium
soaked.
right now, so.
Okay. Then,
And did we put the rice in?
Usually-
Did I miss that?
no, we're going to do that.
Okay.
Next one with
Okay.
We want to do that. And then, wow, Andy, you got that stuff in
Yeah,
there
you
good.
did a good job. Okay. There we go.
We're going to add a little of that.
And And that's
Now
a white Zinfandel that we've got going on.
Yeah,
I didn't
use
go pricey.
and whenever you cook with it, you don't need anything real expensive. I either like to use a white Zinfandel or a Chardonnay for a chicken soup. Now I'm going to add the rice, and you just want to simmer this just a little bit until that rice cooks through.
Okay.
So that's going to simmer probably for about maybe 15-20 minutes or so.
Awesome.
This is something else that I use.
Okay, this looks like the secret ingredient here.
Well, we know that we like the seasoning from the one grain of wild rice.
Right.
This is a little bit similar to it. I get this at Baszler's. It's the rustic rosemary and garlic rub. This is great on steaks, roast, chicken,
Nice.
pork.
Good. Okay.
Just add a little bit of that in there. And that's going to simmer. Stir it occasionally to make sure that it doesn't stick. Like I said though earlier, with this pan, things really don't stick.
That is nice.
I usually just go ahead and add a little bit of the Parmesan cheese to it.
Okay, now I have the grated. I mean, like the shredded, not grated. This is what I got.
Okay,
so it's
that's
gonna.
fine. The Parmesan cheese is going to just give it a little bite.
Okay.
And add a little more salt.
Okay.
A little more salt too.
Yeah, Parmesan cheese is really pretty salty.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but it's good.
It is good. It is good.
Parmesan cheese makes everything better.
It does. We'll link at the bottom of the video on YouTube. We'll have the recipe, and if you don't mind, let me go ahead and write down the name of the cookware too, so people can look that up. Cause, you know, they might want to get a piece of the cookware.
That's right.
And so you guys, we're going to be tasting this in just a little bit, but just so you know, if you're watching this and you're not on our email list, you might want to go to www.honeysucklehillbee.com, go to our contact page, sign up to be on our email, because you're going to be getting not only the cooking videos, you're going to get updates on special events that we have that are reservation only, whether it's our cooking classes or Valentine's Day, Easter, Mother's Day. Mother's Day is always popular whenever we serve Mother's Day. And then whenever we open back up, you're going to get our email each week too. So a lot of information that goes out on our email. So you're going to want to make sure that you get on that. And not only would you, if you're on our email, are you receiving this cooking video, but you're also receiving in your inbox the recipe. So you don't have to pull it off from YouTube. You can just print it right from your email. So are we ready to try this, Leesa?
I think we are.
All right, so Leesa, I'm just digging in front of you here.
That's
You've
fine.
cooked it and I'm the one who's digging in here. Okay. Here's your spoon.
Thank you.
And so do you ever have leftovers of this?
Yes. Oh, that was the other thing that I wanted to say too. It does freeze well.
Oh, does it really? With it being
So if you have a
creamy.
big pot like this and you're making it for 2 people, and you have all of this left and you don't want to eat it every day for the next week, you can eat it for a couple of days and then freeze the rest.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good to know, because I wouldn't have necessarily thought that. I always feel weird whenever I'm on camera blowing my food.
Okay, so what do you think? Won't hurt my feelings if you don't like it.
That is good. That is really good. That sauce is really good. And I can taste the Parmesan more than what I thought that I would too.
And I didn't really put all that much in, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
It gives it
That
some
is
flavor.
so good.
Can you taste
I'm
the
gonna show
wine?
you the sauce though. I don't taste the wine.
No.
But I'm sure it's doing something wonderful.
right.
That
And for all of you
broth
with
is
kids,
amazing.
that alcohol cooks out, so
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about getting your kids drunk.
Oh my goodness. This is really good. That sauce is amazing. That is so good. Leesa, thanks for coming.
Oh,
And
thank you
cooking
for
with
having me. Oh my gosh, love you, Jodi.
Going down memory lane has been fun. So
It has been.
anytime you develop another recipe, come and let's cook it.
Okay. Okay. Sounds great.
Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you later.